Hello everyone, this is Ashish Sani from Innovate Yourself, your channel for exploring exciting projects and innovations in the world of technology. In today's video, you will be diving into the fascinating world of microcontrollers and learning how to blink an LED using ESP32 and ESP-IDF. Now, that is not it for today, because apart from this we will also see that how you can completely configure your ESP32 board according to your project requirements. So in short, we'll set up the complete configuration and I'll show you everything in detail so that you can at least apply this with your project that you may be working on in your future. So let's get started. To begin with a project, we will need a few components. Firstly, we will require an ESP32 development board, which is powerful microcontroller with built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth capabilities. Additionally, we will need an LED, resistor, breadboard and jumpers, but just because in our today's video I'm not gonna add up the external hardware stuff, so that's the reason we'll use the built-in LED of ESP32 microcontroller. So I'll use that and I'll demonstrate that how to do the blinking of your LED using ESP32 and ESP-IDF. So that is all that I'm gonna show you in our today's video. Now let's not waste much time and let's straightforward start with the coding stuff and let's understand that how do we do that with ESP-IDF. So let's get started. Alright, so now you can see on your screen that this is a project that we have covered in our last video where I demonstrated that how do you simply print the hello world using the ESP-IDF. So that was all about that. But now we are not going to use that same project. We're going to start everything from scratch so that I can explain you everything like how to start working with ESP-IDF. Because you may have seen in my previous video that I have started working with Arduino and other softwares, but we haven't worked with ESP-IDF. So we have to learn everything like how to work with this, right? So let's see that. And for that, let me do one thing. Let me open up a new folder, right? Because it's like we have to create a new project, and as you can see in here we don't have any option for creating a new project. So I'll show you how to do that. So for that, I'm on desktop right now. Here I'll simply create up a new project and let me give it a name as blinking LED, right? So this is the name that I've given to my project. So I'll simply create this, and this is the folder that I'll be selecting right now. Just click on open and I'll trust this. Okay, so you guys can see that this is a completely new project for me where I don't have anything right now, and this is the like project in which we don't have any file or anything, right? So this is all about this. Now we have to start working with this, right? And to start working with this, firstly what I need to do is I need to create my project, right? And for creating my project I will be using my ESP-IDF, or let's say I'll use the idf.py, which I have already shown you in my last video, so that I can simply do all the configuration and everything required for ESP32 and ESP-IDF, right? So I'll do everything. Now I'll simply go to terminal and I'll simply click on new terminal. Just click on that, and over here you can see that a terminal is opened, and right now you can see if I will type idf.py and I'll press enter, I'm not gonna get any output. In fact, you can see that I'm getting an error, right? So to configure that or to set up that thing, we know like how to do that, and let me do that because I have already shown you that in my previous video as well, right? So I'll simply do this, save workspace. You can check my previous video as well, so we'll do it in that way. So let me do that quickly and let me add up the configuration for this so that we will be able to get that thing done, right? So let me do that. All right, so you can see I've simply add up the things, like I've simply add up the default profile for your OS, like what it will be opening whenever I'll simply open it up, and accordingly I'll also set up like what it should do, right? Because currently what I have to do is I simply have to open ESP-IDF by default. So that's the reason this is the path I have specified, because my ESP IDF is installed on this directory, or let's say on this location. So that's why I have simply added this up, right? And this is for my like MacBook system, right? On my system I'm using Mac. That's the reason I'm getting this way, and I'm setting up this ZSH this way, right? But if you are using Windows, for that we have a separate configuration, and for that you need to set up it like it will be like cmd.exe. So in that way you will be having it, right? And in case you are facing any difficulties, don't worry, I'll add up a link in the description, so you can check that and accordingly see like what configuration, or let's say what setting parameters that you have to set over here, so that it will open up on your Windows system as well, right? So I'll add it in the description, you can check it from there, right? So this is the way how I have done it. Now I'll simply save it, and I'll simply close the terminal, and now I will open it again. Now can you see, when I open the terminal, this time it is first of all loading this idf.py. Now this is loaded successfully, so that means now I'll be able to start working with this like configuration, or let's say idf.py, to start creating my project and to further do all the possibilities, right? So we'll do that. So this is the first step that we have achieved, and this is the way like how I have done it. So now whenever I'll open up a new terminal, every time it's gonna do the same way, right? So you can see I opened one new terminal, again the same thing is happening, right? So this is how I have done it. Now our first step is that we are inside this directory, and inside this directory I have to start creating my project. So for creating a project we have a command, or let's say we have an instruction, and that instruction is simply type this command idf.py, and here I'll give the name to my project, let's say LED blink, right? So this is the name that I've given, and I have set the path to my current directory only, so that it will create everything, or let's say all the required files on my current directory only, right? So I'll click that. Now I'll press enter. Now you can see okay, it is saying something like that this directory is not empty. That is the reason that I am getting this issue, right? So I can do one thing, I'll simply take this outside over here, right? Or let me do one more thing, let me create a directory on this present directory, and I will create my project inside that, so that it will not create such problem. So let me do that. I'll create this, I'll move inside, and now I'll write the same command again. Now you can see the project was created in this, so this is the path for that. Now this is that project. Now inside this you can see I didn't created anything, I didn't added anything, but these all this folder is not empty anymore, because we have created the project and we have got the by default files which should be present over there, right? So you can see that we have like this main folder inside this LED_blink, and inside that we have one more file, that is cmakelist.txt. I'll open it up, and inside this you can see that this is the name of your project which you have over here, right? Or let's say this is the name that I've given right here, right? So this is my project name, and this is the cmake file, right? And accordingly inside this main folder you will see we have another cmake list, just like here. I'll open this up. Now here what we are defining, we are simply registering that what components we are using, or in other words you can say that this is the name of the C file in which you will simply write up your code. So in case you have to add additional code for your project, you have to mention it here, or let's say you have to register it here. So this is what or this is how it's gonna work. So currently we are going to work with this LED_blink.c, which is this one. So inside this I'll write up the code, and those codes are linked up just because we have registered it here, right? So this is how we have done it. Now these are the functionalities for your cmakelist.txt, one which is inside main and one which is outside main, right? Now I'll open this LED_blink.c, inside which I have to write up the code, right? So you can see this is the by default code which I have right here inside, which you can see that there is one included header file which is stdio.h, and we have the main function, or you can say this is the main function where you have to write up everything, whether you're writing directly or you're writing by using the functions, right? So this is how we have to do it. Now this is something which is where we have to write up the code and everything. Now our functionality for today's session is that we have to blink our led. So to blink the led, we need to define, or let's say we need to simply set up like what pins we are going to use, how we want to use that, whether as an input or whether as an output, and accordingly afterwards we'll also set up that what it should do, whether it should turn on, whether it should turn off. So this is all the things that we have to mention in here. So that is what I'm gonna define in here. And for defining that up, I will simply write up, or let's, I'll simply include the header files, and the header file which I'll need here is driver slash gpio.h, right? So this is how I have simply defined this, or let's say this is how I have simply included this, right? And now accordingly I'll simply start writing up like how do I initialize it, or let's say I'll set up that which pin I'm going to use and how I want to use it. And just because I have already mentioned in the beginning that I'm gonna use my built-in led, and on ESP32 we have the built-in led connected to pin number 2. So I have to define that, and for that we have GPIO set direction, right? So this is how I'm going to do it. And inside this you need to pass up two parameters. One parameter is that what pin you're going to use, second parameter is that how you're going to use it, right? So I'm gonna use the pin number 2, and to define that over here in ESP-IDF, the way for doing that is GPIO underscore num underscore the pin number that you want to work with. I'm gonna work with pin number 2 because that is connected to the built-in led on my ESP32. And now I also have to define that how I'm going to use it. And as I know that I'm gonna use it as an output, so I'll simply define it this way: GPIO underscore mode. Just like in Arduino, you must have already seen that we have a mode, that how do we set it up, right? So we use it like GPIO mode underscore output, right? Okay, so in this way I have simply set up, or I have simply said that this is the pin which I am going to use, so that I can simply control it, or let's say simply I can blink my led, right? So this is what I have done. Now accordingly I'll press enter. Now I have simply defined that what pin I'm going to use and how I'm going to use it. Now the next process is that I have to blink the led, and to blink the led the process is repetitive process, which means turning on the led for some time, turning off the led for some time, and that process is going to repeat, which is called as blinking of led. So this is what I have to define, and for that I need to start a loop so that I can simply say that I'm gonna blink it, and I'm gonna blink it infinite time. So that's why I'll start an infinite loop. Now over here I'll simply write up my code, and the code for that is like over here I am setting up that what is the direction for that, or let's say what mode I want to use for this pin. Here I have to set up the level for this, so I'll simply type it like set level. Now inside this, just like here, what pin I'm going to use, I'm going to use pin number 2. What value I want to set it for, either high or low, you can set it that way, but I'll set it like high or low, which is 1 and 0, right? And just because I want to start it, like I want to run it, or let's say I want to turn it on, but for how long? I want to turn it off on for some time, and that sometime is, let's say, 1 second I want to put, right? And for that we have a command that is v task delay. Just open the bracket, and here we have to simply set up the timing for that. I'll set up the timing as 100, right? So this is the way how I'll get it. And similarly, this will simply turn it on for 1 second, right? So you can see there is a variation in that, right? So that's why we are having this value. So this will turn it on for 1 second. and now I have to turn it off as well. So I'll turn it off for 1 second again. So it's like turning on, turning off, turning on, turning off, and this is gonna repeat multiple times, right? And one more thing is this, or let's say one more thing is here, and that is that this v task delay is not available in the header files which I have already included. So for this I have to include two more header files. One is this, similarly one more, task.h. So in this way I have done it, and now our code is almost done, or you can say our code is done, right? So in this way I have already done it, and now our code is successfully written, so that it will simply repeat the process of turning on the LED and turning off the LED, right? So this is how I can do that. Now this is the way to do it. Now one more thing you can see over here is that I am getting the errors over here, or you can say I'm getting these underline, which is red underline. That means this is not included by default, right? So for doing that, you can see when I clicked here, I'm getting this bulb, right? So just click on that. Now here, to resolve this, I have to click on this first option, which is edit include path. Just click on that, and now just scroll down, and here we have to simply set up, like over here you can see one include path per line. So here we have to set up the path so that it will automatically be able to find out that where are these header files which I have mentioned in here, right? And to mention that, I have a path, and that path is, which is, okay, so you can see I have simply added the path, that this is the path where I have all the libraries and header files which are present inside this, right? And I've simply put star star so that it will automatically figure out like where exactly we have the header files over there, right? So that's why we have it that way, right? Okay, so this is how we have done it, and now it is done. Now I'll go back to the code. Okay, I'll put it here only. I'll simply put star star here, and let's see it now. Okay, now you can see previously I think there was some spelling mistake only, that's why I was not able to get it, but now it's fine. Okay, now it's giving the error in here, freeradios.h, okay. Okay, anyways, so this is the correct way to do it, right? So sometime it shows you this error also, so I can simply put it this way, and this error will also be gone, right? So you can simply put it this way, right? Now yeah, this is done. Now the next thing is that we have to simply upload the code. So for uploading the code, that process we have already seen in our last video, but apart from that I also want to show you one more thing, and that is to do the configuration of your ESP32, right? Because currently we have two parameters basically which we have to change in the configuration, or let's say in the menu configuration. So over there we need to change two things. One is the clock speed, and second one is the flash memory, right? So we have to simply change that, because by default those values are different, and in our case the values are different. So I'll simply change that, because those create some problem sometimes when you start uploading the code, right? So I'll simply show you how to do that. Just go to the terminal, like over here you can see, just simply go to idf.py space menu config. Just type this and press enter. Now you can see we have the configuration menu opened. Now over here you can see we have the multiple options which I can access using the arrow keys, like up, down. I can access that, and accordingly I can go inside and backside using the left and right keys. And also there are some options where we need to select the option as a check buttons or something, you can say. So those can be selected using the space bar as well, right? So as I said that we have to set up two things. One is the clock speed and one is the flash memory, right? So let me first of all go in here, serial flash config, and over here you can see there is an option with the name flash size. So by default the flash size is set to 2 MB, and in our case we are using ESP32 which is having a flash memory of 4 MB. So I'll simply go in here and I'll simply press space bar so that I can select it, and you can see the size is changed, right? So flash size is 4 MB now, and I can use it. and ESP32 comes with a different variant, so you can check your variant and accordingly you can adjust the flash size, whatever it is, right? So you can select that and accordingly select it. Now I'll go back, and for going back you can press the S button, ESC. So just press that and it will take you backward. And now second thing is we have to set up the clock speed, and for that go to component config, just go inside and now scroll down, or let's say just use the arrows to go down, and over here we have to go to ESP system settings. Just go inside. Now you can see the first option, CPU frequency. I'll go inside again. Now the CPU frequency is 160 megahertz, but in our case it's 240 megahertz. So just simply select that and you can see it's changed. So now these were the two values which I have to set up, and currently just because these two were the only requirement for us, so that's why I'm changing them. But in case you want to make further changes according to the Wi-Fi, according to the BLE, according to the Bluetooth, or any other requirement if you have for your project, you can come in here and you can select the options accordingly. So this is the way to do that. Now after all, like when you are done with everything, once you have set up everything, like whatever you want to change, now on this screen just simply press ESC. Now it will ask you to save the configuration. If you want to save it, just press Y. If you don't want to save it, just press N. In my case, I want to save it, so I'll simply click on Y. So you can see when I clicked on yes, the configurations are changed and they are saved. And here you can see we have two SDK config files. One is the old one and one is the new one. So this SDK config is the new configuration after the changes that you have done, right? So I can show you that either. Just open it up and I'll simply search for 240. 240. Yeah, basically you can see config ESP default CPU frequency megahertz is 240. This is what I set right now, right? Same thing if I'll check in the old one, just find it out. Sorry, no, not this. Okay, now you can see previously it was this, and this is 160 megahertz, right? So we have changed them, right? So this is the way like how we can do that. And now once we are done with this, once we have make the configuration changes, now the final thing for us is that we have to simply upload the code. And for uploading the code, I simply have to first of all connect my system, or let's say I have to simply connect my ESP32 to the system so that I can accordingly do the modifications and I can simply upload the code, right? And for doing this, I have to write up the command, right? And I'll write up the command here, idf.py, because first of all we have to build it, right? So for doing this, first of all you have to build it so that your project will be created successfully, and it will be created in such a way that the bootloader can be uploaded, or you can say flashed to your ESP32. So this is what we have to do. So I'll simply first of all build it up, just press enter and wait for it to finish, because we have make the changes in the menu config, so it may take some time because it's gonna build everything from scratch. So you can see this, right? Once it is done, after that we have to start flashing the code to the ESP32, right? So just wait for it to finish. Okay, in my case you can see I got an error because in my case I put the value for value as true, but the true is not acceptable. It's written in small t, right? In case you don't want to see the errors or something, we can do it this way also. I can write 1 as well, but yeah, true is also correct, but I'll put it 1 for now, right? So let me do it again. Okay, so now you can see this time it's done successfully. So to flash, you can see it is giving you the options for that as well, right? And now it means it is successfully done. Now we have to simply flash it, and for flashing it, I'll simply write it like idf.py and flash. So it is simply giving you that this is the option, like how to do this when you want to do it this way, right? But I also want to specify that what port I am using. In my case, just because I'm using Mac OS, so my port will be something different, right? But in case you're using Windows system, in that you will be having the port something like this. Let's say COM3, COM1, COM7, something like that, right? So in your case, your port number will be like this. But just because I am using MacBook, or you can say if you're a Linux user, in your case also it will be the same, right? So let me do it. Let me put it. Okay, so this is the port which I have on my system. So this is the way to put it, right? And on Ubuntu users or on the Linux users, right, you also have to put it in the similar way, because you will also get the port number like this only, right? So this is for that. And along with that, I can also set up the baud rate. I'm setting it as 115 to 00, because I want to communicate like my ESP32 with my system as well, so that I can read like what's happening. Because currently you can see like I'm simply putting it like turning it on, turning it off, something like this. But in case you want to also put up a message over here, that message you should be able to display there, right? So that is what we can do as well, right? So this is the way to do it. And after that, I'll also put up one more thing, monitor, so that I can simply see like what's happening with the ESP32, right? So currently I haven't written any message for that, but it's okay. I'll simply put it now. And now it will simply flash it, and along with flashing, it will simply show you or open up the serial monitor, so that you can see like what's happening, right? So I'll simply run it now. So everyone, one more thing you can see over here, SPI flash site. This is what we set, right? So this is what we have, and also you can verify the clock speed as well, right? You may be able to see it here only, right? Okay, you can find it here only, right? That's not a problem. If you are able to see it, that is good. Otherwise, no problem. So now you can see on your screen that this is the way like how we have done it, and also you can see how the LED is blinking. So this is the way like how we can simply blink our LED, or let's say the built-in LED with the ESP32 and ESP IDF. So this is all about this. So that's all for today. And also one more thing, one last thing which I can show you for this is, in case you want to stop it, because if you will see, if I will press like Control C, this menu, or let's say this monitor screen, will not go, right? So you can see this, it's not going, right? I'm trying to do the things, but it's not happening. So if I want to stop it, I have to simply press Control your closing square brackets. Just simply press that, and it will be simply stopped automatically. Otherwise, if you don't know about that, you simply have to terminate your terminal, and then you have to start it. So that's all for my side for today. I hope you guys have understood like how we can simply work with ESP32 and ESP IDF. And just like in our today's video, we have seen like how to blink the LED, and also how to set up the configurations of your ESP32. So this is all about for this. And if you guys still have issues in understanding any of the topic, or if you're still facing any difficulties in blinking your LED, just feel free to leave a comment below in the comment section. And also just wait for our next tutorial, so that I can demonstrate something new to you by using the ESP IDF. So that's all from my side for today. I hope you are able to understand this, but still, if you guys are facing any difficulties, just feel free to leave a comment below in the comment section, so that I can help you as soon as possible. And also, if you guys have liked this video, do click on the like button. And if you're new to our channel, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, do click on the subscribe button, so that you do not miss any videos from our channel. And also, you can share this video with everyone, so that they can also get the benefits in learning all this process, right? So that's all from my side. See you in our next video. Till then, bye bye and take care.